Hey and welcome, Miss Kira Speaks. Before we get started, I ask that you watch the videos till the end, subscribe, and turn your notifications. We are here for Love is Blind Season 3. And I took my notes a little differently this time, so let's see how we get through this whole thing. You know the drill. We see the people and they're telling us their expectations of the show. We see the women's living quarters and we see the men's living quarters. Then Nick and Vanessa come in and they introduce themselves and they explain the premise of the show. And Vanessa asks, "What brought you here?" Dating apps are convenient, but it's hard to get to know someone authentically, says Kalika, and that this experiment offers no distractions. You can't see race here, SK says, so you fall in love with someone's mind first and then the other stuff. So you know how it goes. They have 10 days of dating. They can get a proposal. If they get the proposal and they accept, then they get to see their fiance. And then in 4 weeks, they will decide at their wedding. Now, I don't know about that. And that's the one thing that kind of has always given me hesitation or pause about this show. I feel like they should do everything kind of the same, but maybe they should end in a proposal. So instead of ending in a wedding, so you would get maybe, "Will you be my girlfriend?" type of thing. And then they would accept, and then they would go on through the experiment and do everything that they typically do, and then end in a proposal or a breakup instead of ending in a wedding. Like, who wants to get married only to get divorced? Ask season 2. The pods are open. So now let's get to the nitty gritty. In the pods, we're asking questions. We're trying to get a feel for people and their personality. They're asking, what kind of love do you need? They're talking about sexual positions. Do you want kids? Nancy says she wants 10. She has a lot of love to give. Child, I guess so. Tony says he loves it and he wants a basketball team. Nancy's family and her personal life has been giving her the business about not having kids. Child, give Nancy a break. So you can see already that Nancy is going to be one of our mains on this show. We also talk to Bartise. He talks about his parents divorcing and he wants to be with someone for life. He's looking for a best friend. He's 25, but he says he's mature and he has his ish together, okay? We find out Bartise's real first name is Robert when he meets Raven. Bartise, his middle name is after his dad's friend. I forgot what the story was with that. And then they discuss a perfect date. Raven loves to work out, and this is something that the two have in common. And she says, child, what did she say? What did I write here? Oh, Raven says she loves muscles. So she says she's guilty of letting things slide or for the strength of looks. Girl, we all been there, but you might be a little too old for that. I forgot how old Raven is. Hopefully we'll get updated in my notes in a few. We meet SK. He is super smart. But as for the looks, we'll see how some people feel about that. Everybody's somebody's cup of tea. He is from Nigeria and he has a degree and he's going to grad school. We meet Colleen, who's 25 and a ballet dancer who says she loves to flirt. She says that she hopes that people will fall in love with her bubbly personality. So then we kind of get to meet a bunch of guys really quickly. We see Matt, we see Brennan, we see Andrew, who is our world traveler, and she tells all of them, "I'm a ballet dancer. I'm a ballet dancer. I'm a ballet dancer." We meet Cole, and he loves that she's flexible, and he also wants lots of kids. He wants like 7. He says real world dating has been hard. It sucks. In college and high school, the opportunities are right there. But where can you meet people in the grown-up world? Is he going to meet somebody at a grocery store? I guess you can. He meets Brennan again and he gives her a no automatically on the strength of her being a nurse. Why? They never tell us why. And we basically never see Brannigan's big, beautiful brown smile again. I loved her. Come on, Black people. We meet Jess. She says that she likes beer with olives. Ew. He says it's a no. He meets with Zainab. He says he loves her name. And we find out that he is in real estate. Cole, that is. So I think that Cole and Nancy are going to be like the 2 big personalities of this show out the door. You could see in like the first, I don't even know how many minutes of the show this was. So Cole says that, his first concert was the Jonas Brothers and that he loves the Jonas Brothers. Do you like the Jonas Brothers? Lauren, she says yes, but Cole admits he's picky. And so Lauren, she looks like a no for him. He loves to talk, y'all. Cole loves to talk. Big personality. So we meet Alexa. She says she loves the skin she's in. Yes, girl, okay. She loves to eat and she's confident. She's also an Israeli girl. And then Alexa, I believe, meets Brennan. He also says he loves food. He makes her fave and he says that he likes big family gatherings. It's clear that Alexa likes Brennan. So we see the guys, they're back at their living quarters and they said that they are exhausted. They talk about how Cole and Tony have, they like the same girls. We don't see too much of Tony in this series as far as I could see. The ladies talk. Kimberly says she likes Cole. Kimberly is another cute girl who we have no focus on her and I don't think we see her much in the series either. Zanab admits that she's picky and she has a checklist, but clearly the checklist hasn't worked. Henceforth, she's here. They talk about her dates and Zanab is ready to be booed up. All right. So it's day 2 and Nancy is confident that she will leave here booed up and she starts to cry and I really didn't understand why. Raven, she does exercise with the ladies. She says that she likes Bartice. Day 2 of them, they meet in the pods with a yoga ball for some exercise. And, he seems like he's into it. And she says, she likes him, but she wants to be transparent. She says that she teaches Pilates full time, but she's also in the service industry. She says that guys have had a problem with it. And he's like, what do? Do you strip? That's what I thought when she said that too. She was like, no, I don't strip. She laughed. She's like, although, I do love a good strip club. She says that she does bottle service and she bartends. And he says, it's a lot. I think he says it is a lot, but he's confident he's okay with it. I kind of like these two together. Bartice was kind of at this point, he's going with the flow. He's just, that's what we are seeing from Bartice. The ladies talk and Raven reveals that Bartice is her number 1. Zanab loves that for her. They wonder who's Nancy's number 1 because they said she's kind of been, closed-lipped about the situation. They discussed Nancy being a lot. I agree. Well, it was mostly Raven, but I do tend to agree. Nancy was a little bit too bubbly, too charismatic for me. That's not my wheelhouse. I kind of tend to be a little more quiet and reserved, but I'm not there to date Nancy. So we find out that Nancy also likes Bartice. She says that every time that someone says her names that, her ears perk right on up. And I was hoping that this was not going to be a Ayanna and Mallory situation. For you guys that watch the show, for you guys that don't, let's see if I could do a brief rundown. So we had Jarrett. Jarrett liked Ayanna and Mallory. Mallory was his number 1. Mallory decided she was going to go off with somebody else. Can't remember the man's name. He ends up crying me a river. Someone of the guys is like, but you still have Ayanna. So he goes and picks Ayanna and they ended up getting together. They go all the way to the end. They get married. In my opinion, she never got over Mallory being his first choice and he liked to party too much. So now these two are divorcing. End scene. Raven says that, she's a little worried and Nancy says she's going to let Bartice figure out who it is that he wants to be with. And I guess that's, the attitude to have about the situation. But I don't know. Like I said, I'm not really too fond of Nancy. So Nancy meets with Bartice in the pods and she tells him that she was an egg donor in grad school. She says about 8 times and it was 25 to 30 eggs. Damn, that's a lot of eggs. She says she signed paperwork in the future that the kids could find out who she was if they wanted to know who who the mom was, and that her friends and men had problems with this. So, she just wanted to be open and honest with them. She asked him how he feels and he thanks her for telling him. He says that it's not an issue. He thinks that's beautiful that, she helped the families. And like I said, Bartice is just cool about everything. He's like, yeah, not a problem. Kind of going with the flow. Like I said, that is a lot of eggs. Like that's a lot of babies running around, but her business, not mine. Sometimes I know you need a dollar. So they talk some more, and they talk about kids. Do you want kids? Bartiz says yes. He says a girl then a boy, but ideally he would like 2 boys. Nancy said in a perfect world, she wants 10 kids. Her and these damn 10 kids. Cool it, Nancy. She says she's 33 or 34, and he reveals he's 25. Why do I say child? She's 33 or 34 or 31? I don't know. She's in her 30s, and he's 25. Here we go with this damn ring light. Child, this ring light be giving me a fever. Let me have a sip of my wine at this point. Because I can't even remember where I left off. There was some type of discrepancy with her age, and on my part. Nancy is in her 30s. Bartiz reveals that he's 25, and she's shocked. And she asks, doesn't it scare him? He says no, but now she's concerned with the age gap and says in the real world that she would have never chosen him. Let me try to do the math. 25. I think she's 30. Yeah, she's 31. I don't know why I wrote 33, 34. Maybe he asked if she was 33, 34. I'm rambling. So we going over to Brennan, and he's, I think, in a confessional. He says that, dating apps and dating in general, that you get that superficial snapshot of what folks want you to see. Absolutely factual. Amen. So he says he's still skeptical to propose in 10 days, but he hopes that all that matters is love, and that love is blind. He and Alexa, they have another date, and she says she's really close to her family. She asked about his family. He says it was 6 months when his parents split, and that they had bad communication, that they had no arguments in front of him, but he could feel the hatred between them, and that there was no yelling, but he and his older brother, it affected them. He felt that the hatred was geared towards him, and that he'd cry about it at night. And that really hurts my feelings, especially as a single mother, because never mind, I won't get into my personal business, but I'll just say I get the parents not wanting to argue in front of the kids. I'll kind of just leave it at that, because I agree with that. But just knowing that he as a kid kind of felt some type of way, because he could feel the vibe, and that's why kids feel that vibe. That's why I'm single, because Mary J. Blige, all your girlie wants is to be happy. I don't want my kids to see me fussing and fighting. Now I'm, fussing with them. Anyway, he says that family is still important, and Alexa, she says she wants her in-laws to like her. And if they don't like her, and it's a fundamental thing, like her being Jewish, she says she's not religious, but she's proud to be Jewish, that will be a problem for her. They both want to be accepted, and she says her parents are divorced. Her dad had full custody. She has an older sister, but she was always in charge of things, that it's a family of 6 kids. There's 4 of them, and then the stepmom and her dad had one, and is that right? 4 of them, the stepdad had, I think there was one on either side, like the stepdad and the mom had one, and I think that's what you said. The one that's between the dad and the stepmom, there's a little 4-year-old girl, and she says that's like her best friend, and they spent time together before they came on the show. And I could just see sparks between the 2 of them. I really can. I like Alexa and Brennan together. Nancy says that she and Andrew connected intellectually and financially. We know that Nancy has a huge problem with the age difference between her and Bartiz. So henceforth, here's Andrew. She says she hasn't done what he's done, and she wants a romantic relationship with someone who will help her to thrive beyond what she can do alone. Andrew says he enjoys the finer things in life. His values are shifting because he craves spending time and experiences. Andrew is another one that talks a lot, y'all. He seems, I guess, very educated and very well traveled. That's why I was calling him the world travel. He just has a lot to say. I will not even give you all the things that Andrew has to say, because you will be exhausted. Nancy and Andrew, they meet up at the pods. She says she likes his voice. He has a radio voice. He does. His voice is it's nice. She says, no, he asked, do you like kissing? She says she does. And then he gets into transcendental sex. But he talks so much, child. Nancy's over there fanning herself, I guess. He says he's only been open, sexually for a couple of years, and that he dated a 41-year-old woman. She taught him a lot. Okay. Child, blah, blah, blah. Sexual kung flu, blah, blah, blah. Have an orgasm without her, again, blah, blah, and the blah. So, moving on. Rewind. Brennan and Colleen are in the pods, not Brennan and Alexa. I was always wondering. She says she's happy to see him, and she says that love is in the air. And I said, well, for her at least. So she says she's excited to talk to him. But then he has to break it to her that he has found someone that he truly connects with, and he wants to move forward with that. It's awkward. In her confessional, she admits that in the real world, folks are attracted to her looks, but after a few dates, it's a no. So the date ends and she cries and she goes back to the living quarters and talks to the ladies about it. And they try as best as they can to comfort her. So Brennan, he talks to the guys, and the confessional says that he feels bad, but he won't apologize for the way he feels about Alexa. He talks to the guys about not thinking that it was going to happen, that he's really into her. So they meet up in the pods, and he tells her that he grew up without, he loves what he does, and now that he's not worried about money, he's looking for love. She didn't think that she would find love out of this, and he tells her that he loves her, and she says that she loves him too. So clearly, Brennan and Colleen are a wrap. So Colleen meets with Cole in the pods. She says she likes to have a good time, and then they get a little more serious. How many kids do you want to have? She says she doesn't know. He says he wants a big family. How about 5 or 6? Can you handle it? Yes, let's do this. So Cole seems like he's into Colleen. He says she may be the one in his confessional, and he loves the idea of her body. Clearly, ballet dancer, flexible, man's dream. So then we see Zainab and Cole, and he says he likes her voice, and she asks what she should know about him. He's like, let me stroke my ego. She's like, go ahead, because I won't. And I said, I know that's right, girl. He says that he says he loves the outdoors and God. She says she also loves God. He says he loves family. He has an older sister and a younger brother. His parents are still together, and that's a very close-knit family. Zainab says she has one sister that's 8 years older. Me too, but a brother. Her parents passed away. She said her dad, when she was 13, they went water skiing, I think on a family trip. And then afterwards, I think he complained of, I forgot what, his chest pain, whatever. He passed away. Her mom, she says, had a benign brain tumor. It wasn't cancerous, but it was aggressive. It didn't respond to chemo or radiation, and that she passed away when she was 18. So she spent her teenage years grieving. Child, that's a lot. Who wouldn't? That's a whole lot of grief for, to lose your parents before. I'm not saying that childhood is not a vital time, because you definitely need your parents in childhood, but you also need them in those early adult years, and even in the later adult years if you can get them. I'm not going to get into my personal life. Here, he tears up. He says he's moved. I teared up too. He says that he likes her a little bit more now, and that she checks the boxes. And I feel like she's a little too deep for him. That's just my personal opinion. In her confessional, she says she's a cute little flight attendant, but she doesn't get approached. She doesn't get hit on. And I was like, I hate that for her. It's hard being a woman sometimes, because sometimes people just don't want to approach you. Brennan heads to the pods, and he says he feels good. He says he doesn't have a clear picture of what she looks like, but he has a full picture of who she is as a person. He likes that. Alexa meets him in the pods, and he tells her he's been thinking about her, and he loves her, and he gives this beautiful speech, and she makes him happy, and he wants to make her happy every day in life if she'll let him, for as long as she'll let him. He takes a knee and he asks, will you marry me? And she seems a little awkward. And it's like a little pause, and she's crying, and she finally does say yes. And he was worried if she was going to say yes. I was worried too, child. And then she's like, I hope you know what you're signing up for. I'm a lot. Ladies, don't do that. Do not undersell yourself. I get it. And yes, even when we can be a lot, you're worth it. Do not say that to a man. I'm a lot. I hope you know what you're getting yourself into. Well, I hope you know what you're getting yourself into. Don't do that. He says, he can't wait to see her. We get I love yous. And he goes up and tells the guys. She goes up and tells the girls. And we're almost at the end here. Not too bad. Hopefully, by the time I edit this video won't be too long. Sorry if I'm looking at my notes. Like I said, I took the notes a lot differently this time. On a piece of paper, I was taking the notes at work because I actually took the notes of this the first day it came out. But like I said, life has been hitting me so hard. So I'm going to try to get these up for you as quickly as I possibly can. Who knows when that'll be? I wanted to do 2 in a day, but that's not going to happen. So Cole and Colleen are back in the pods. In the confessional, she says she has feelings for him and he could be the one. Fingers crossed. So he asks, can you guess what animals are on my sock? She guesses a turtle, and he's like, oh my God, he's blown away. And he says that she's the fun choice, but if they're going to get married, that they need to get deep. She gets quiet. She says that she's not shallow, but she's not used to getting deep. She's comfortable with surface level and fun, and that's who she is. And he's like, marriage is very deep, and he doesn't want a shallow marriage. I agree. She says that's usually not what she goes for, and he says he needs that in a marriage. She says she's working towards it, and basically he's like, you're working towards it, but I'm there. So he can't see himself taking a knee for her. And she says that she knows she's not shallow, and she ends up leaving. So she goes back to the ladies in the living quarters, and she cries me a river again. And she says that he called her shallow. He didn't call her shallow. You called you shallow. But I need to know why Colleen is like this. Like, I need a little more backstory on these people, because not that, women aren't like deep in a long story, but there tends to be a lot about women and our relationships and how we reform relationships and maintain relationships. And there's a history of why it is what it is, and I need to know. So it's time for Alexa and Brennan to meet, and we see each of them, they talk and they reflect, and she's doing it, he's doing it, and then he says he believes that love is blind. He's excited to get to know her. She's excited, but she's nervous. She says she's curvy and she's not for everybody. She hopes she's for him. Child, I wish I could stand up and give you all these curves, because he better get with it, okay? And then we get to the reveal, and the doors open, and she says, what the F? And I was like, yikes, because that is where the episode ends. Child, I won't do the whole long hoopla. Just catch me back here for episode 2, because we have to find out what happened. Well, I know what happened, but we need to talk about what happened on episode 2. Was it a good thing? Was it a bad thing? Who says what the F? Oh my God, they had me so stressed out. Get down in the comments. Let me know how you're enjoying the show. Just give me comments on the show. Check out some of my other content. I appreciate you. Thank you. All of that good stuff. I'm going to wrap it up, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.